You need to learn how to socialize. You need to get out there. You need to be bold and brave and be uncomfortable.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Global One Voice Empowerment Network. This morning we have one of our special guests, Simba, and I'm here with Nicole Macho, who will be hosting today's episode. And today we will be talking about why parents are very vital in helping their children choose a life partner. So our topic is, should parents really guide their children in choosing a life partner? And Simba here has I think he's an expert in this. And he's one of the board member of the Ishkasheta Refugee Network here in Tucson. And so he brings with us so much insights and experiences. Simba, you're most welcome. This is Global One Voice Empowerment Network. So here we inspire the young people to grow advocates for issues affecting their communities and inspire them in so many ways. And so the reason as well we chose this topic, because we think that mostly young people between ages 18 to 35 are in that period of choosing a life partner. And most of them don't want to include anybody in choosing their life partner. And our first question is, when it comes to choosing a life partner, what do you think are the most important qualities or values to consider beyond love and attraction?
Thank you for inviting me on your platform. I love your show. It's run by young people and for young people as well. This is very important. So what you guys are doing here is amazing. Rebecca, Nicole, it is inspiring to many young people. I'm glad that we are talking about relationships, and I think it's a very important subject, because life is better when you are working with someone else. Life is better when it's two of you, for obvious reasons, because we all need help, we all need company. And when it comes now to choosing a partner, I believe, this is my belief, this is my personal opinion, that when you're about to choose a partner, especially when you're young, it's good that you have I have a theory, actually. I have a theory. I call it the committee.
Okay.
So the committee is made of people that you trust. Could be parent, it could be friends, it could be people from work, or even church, if you go to church, people that you admire, that you trust, and hopefully a little bit older. Some in that committee will be probably maybe your age, and if you choose one of your parents, obviously someone who you trust. So I call it the committee, because when you have an interest in someone and you start dating, there is a time where you want to introduce them to the people that matter in your life. Friends, parents, even colleagues, because you're talking about, I'm going out with this person. So people that you spend time most, whether at home or outside the home, leisurely, we could be your friends, or at work. You might, we all have that one or two people that you talk about personal things. There's this guy I'm going out with, or there's this girl I'm going out with, and then, there is a conversation. And everyone around you, if they truly love you, they would like to know, who is this person?
Yeah.
Where did you meet? What's their name? Where did they come from? Questions like that. People that really care about you, they would ask those questions. And it's those people that you would share about this new person, this new interest in your life. Because, we have so many types of relationship. We have relationship with our parents. That's a type of relationship. We have a relationship with our friends, best friends. And then we have relationship with people that we work with. We call them colleagues. But this person, you're going to have a different relationship, a romantic relationship. So it is very important that you introduce that person, because even that person, if that person if that person is genuine, if that person really likes you, and if that person is a decent person, they would want to know your family. They would want to know your friends. They would want to know your community. Who do you hang out with? Vice versa. You would want to know their family. You'd want to know their friends. You want to know, where they hang out, their community. So it is in that time that you can now introduce them to the people that you love. And that's a vital time, and caution, do not, if you, I advise that you don't bring anybody. You bring somebody you're sure, to your mother or your father or your best friend. I'm in relationship with this person. I like this person. I'd like to introduce them to you, and obviously questions will come out of it. So I think that's a very important step in your relationship, introducing them to that circle of friends, to that circle of trust, the people that you trust. Because when you hang out together, let's say you introduce your friend to your new friend, the person you're dating, to your friends. Let's say you go out. Your friends, they're most likely to ask that person questions. And at the end of the night or the following day, you're going to catch up with them and ask them, what did you think of that person? I'm sure if they really like you, they would give you their opinion. We like them because of this and that. We don't like them because of that and this. And this is where I think that circle of friends, that circle of trust is important, giving you opinion or a viewpoint about that new person in your life.
Yeah, I know you've talked about, the committee or the community that you come up with as a theory. Okay, but before you bringing those people to your parents and to your friends, what's one quality you should always look at beyond attraction? Beyond just liking this person? Okay,
the thing is, this is one thing that I've, obviously we are in 2025 and, it's true. We jump to knowing that person, to introduce. There is so many steps before you get to that, right?
Yeah.
There is the choosing aspect. Who do I choose? Who do I go out? What am I looking for? There's so many other questions. We are in a age where dating has changed. When I was your age, I sound so old. There was no dating apps. There was no dating apps, and now we have dating apps. That's how people hook up. We didn't have so much of social media. Now you get to see. I have a colleague at work who hooked up with his girlfriend, and now his fiance. Through Instagram, and I was like, how did you do it? I saw her on Instagram. I sent her a message, DM her, and she said yes, and we started going out. I was like, what? I didn't know you can do that. So this is the new age.
Yeah.
So if my advice is that, there is dating apps, which is great, but I promote that young people socialize. Socialize, go out. You go to college, find a club, find a club that if it could be, I like tennis club. When you go there, you'll find people. If you like chess, join a chess club. If you join a sorority, go there and you'll find people with shared interest. There, and for those that go to church, I love church. Go to church. You will find people of shared interest and shared values. And that is an important thing. And that's how you see someone, You see them in a particular environment that you like, that you feel like this is something very interesting or very important, whatever club that you're in, and you find someone over there, already you have shared values. And that's a good place. You have shared interest.
Yeah.
And that is the beginning of a relationship. What brings you together? What are the interests that you have, that you share? Do you love sports? Do you love politics? Do you love community outreaches? What do you like together? And when you meet in that particular place, already you know that. Then you can observe them in action from afar. See how they respond, see how they treat people, see how they talk, And then you can say, you know what, I can approach them. So the number one thing that to look for is, do we have any shared interest? Second, do we share the same values?
Yeah. And I would say that's very important. But you talked about church. Most people always say that a church is a place with sick people. It's like a hospital with the sick and people are not sick, and so you're finding you're in the mix of all those things. And so some people are like, I cannot find somebody from the church. But what you've said is really very important. It's like you're finding this person wherever you find them from, if it's a church or if it's in a club or at school or somewhere else. But look at their values. Look at them from afar and assess them through open communication, engagement, assess each and everything that they're telling you, because you're going to spend this person, I think, most of your life with this person. And so you really have to be serious while, seeking up this person. Yeah.
From your experience, what role should parents take when someone is picking a partner?
Okay, so I believe that, first of all, not every parent is good to be involved. All right. Ideally is to have a good relationship with your parents already. If you share that wonderful relationship, because not many of us have that, some of us have complicated relationship with our parents. So when it comes to picking a mate, that's the last person. They are the last people I'm going to ask, because we don't have that trust built between us, even though they're my parents. However, if you do have a respectful relationship with your parents, please, those are the people, that's the number one person you should tell them about that person, because they're going to ask you questions. They're going to ask that person questions that you can never think of because of the experience. So basically what you're doing, you're tapping into the experience of relationship, because they've been there, they've been there for a while. All right. Secondly, they know you better than anybody else. All right. Parents know you better. They understand you. They understand what makes you happy. They understand what makes you sad. They understand what makes you excited, what makes you tick. So many things about you, because they raised you. So that is why that when you have a good relationship with your parents and you're about, you're starting dating or you looking for dating advices, they should be the number one person to ask, because they know you and they have experience in relationship. All right? So therefore, their opinion is very valuable. Take it into consideration. Many times I remember in the past when I was dating and I would just bring a girl and I would introduce to my mother and say, yo, mom, look at this girl. I like her. Look at that. And then I was like, yo, because I used to live in England. I said, let's go shopping. Let's go shopping for my girlfriend. And she'd be there and she would have a mean face. I'm like, what is it with you? Don't you like her? She wouldn't say anything, right? I could see there was something that, and that girl was fine. I was like, what is it that you see that I don't see? Because, she's an African parent. She wouldn't tell me the truth. She wanted to respect me. She didn't want to say anything bad. But inside of her, there was something in her that told her, this is not the right girl for my son. But she didn't know how to express it. Later on, when we broke up, there she is, shouting, hallelujah. I'm like, what kind of insensitive person are you? I am broken and you are happy. And she's like, yo, son, I'm so happy because that girl was not the right girl for you. So why? Because she knows me. She knew that this wasn't going to work. And that's where I started to see that, this is a resource that I should tap into. Your parents are a resource when you're dating to tap into. Of course, if you have a great relationship with them, because they know you better than most people, and they've been there before. They've done the relationship thing, and they understand what it takes to have a great relationship.
Yeah, most parents want the best for their children. So I think taking advice from your parents or anyone you look up to should be taken accountable and kind of let it sink in and don't take anything in offense if they say anything bad or anything. So where do you think should the line be drawn between guidance and interference?
Oh, that's a good question. So this is where the relationship that you have. If your parents tend to overstep in your decisions, they will do the same when you bring them that person into your life. So that already is built. So you know already how much you can share with your mother or your father, because you know how they tend to be. Though they know you better than most people, you know them a lot as well. You know, like, oh, I know my father. Oh, I know my mother's going to trip if I tell her this and that, right? Or I know how much she can take, how much she can't take. So obviously, there has to be wisdom. You know, they cannot force their opinion on top of you and say, look, this is a no-no or this is a yes. You have to go. No, they have to be gentle with you. They have to tell you, you know, their opinion in a very gentle way, but without, you know, pressing your without pressing your opinions, or without or trying to ignore how you feel or your views. They have to do it in a very subtle way that you can receive. You know how somebody gives you an advice and you're willing to receive, and someone else might give you the same advice, but because the way they said it, you don't want to receive it. Actually, you want to do the contrary. You want to do the opposite because you are so not happy with the way they said it. So they have to be careful as well. That's why when you decide to introduce them, you have to know that, you know, this is how they're going to react. Because as parents, they want to protect you. They want the best for you, right? So they have to find ways to tell you, you know, what are the cons and the pros of this person. And they can actually tell you what they would like for you, you know, like this is the kind of person I'd like for you. Just saying that, you know, and you're like, I appreciate mom for telling me this, but this is the person that is in my life at the moment. So whether you try and find a middle ground and discuss it, because when you're in a relationship, you know, it's really hard to be objective. You are young, your blood is running, you're hot, you just want things now, you know, and that is why I feel like bringing another set of eyes from someone trustworthy would help you, because that person is going to be objective, because they're not going through those things that you're going through. So they can say, hey, stop. This, you know, they can give you a viewpoint that you wouldn't see. I've seen it many times where somebody's like, oh, man, I love this person, I love this person, I love this person. And when they come to talk to me about them, and then I ask them, do they have a job? Oh, that doesn't matter. It's like, what? How did you miss that? You know? Yeah. Where did they work? Actually, I don't know. You know, don't worry about it. He's a great person, or they're a great person, or they are going after their dreams, blah, blah, blah. But I'm like, how? You know, that's a fundamental job. That's a fundamental, you know, question. How are you guys going to live together? What is his income? What does he do for a living? You know, what is his aspirations? So those are the things a parent might ask you, and you know, it's up to you now to receive it or not to receive it, because that is very valid. She's thinking about you down the line together. How are you going to live? Yeah,
I feel like most parents look into the future.
Yeah.
And the people who are in love, they only see at the moment.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. And that is a normal thing. That is the beauty of love, of falling in love. There's so much spark. But as you know, as someone who's been in love for you know, I have the experience, I understand that to make a relationship work, you need more than love.
Because one, like you said, they have gone through the experience and they know what they're talking about, and they're seeing things from a different angle.
Yeah.
And most of the time, the young people, like they're clouded with emotions. They're not really seeing, they're only looking at the short term. And so like making a very great judgment is always, often it's not possible. And that's why I've seen that with my life experiences, that most parents who are always involved with their children, if they really had a very great a relationship with their kids and help them choose this partner, their marriages always work, like I think 100% of the time.
Yeah.
And then these children who are like, I don't want anybody to interfere with my life, most of the time it doesn't work out. And I think with parents, at the end of the day, they don't want you to suffer, they want to see you succeed. And so they get so much involved most of the time, and at times if they're not coming from a very good perspective, you end up disagreeing and be like, I want to do, but you know, like I just want to do my things my own way. But I'll still say, like, even if you have a bad relationship with your parents, at least you have a mentor. At least you have somebody whom you trust the most.
Yeah.
Because ever since you were born, somebody has always been guiding you. How about this time around when you're choosing a life partner, somebody you're going to live with for the rest of your life? Why can't you let somebody else, again, help you choose this person? And so this brings us to a question that says, how do cultural or religious backgrounds influence the way people approach marriage decisions?
We come from different cultures and different backgrounds. And what I think is that we shouldn't, I tend not to judge, you know, because there's no there's no script. You know, there's no like a handbook out there. This is how you do marriage. This is how you find your lifetime mate. No, there isn't, you know?
Yeah.
So everybody does it different. Every culture does it different. Just because they do it like that doesn't mean that they're doing the wrong way. Just because you do it this way doesn't mean that you're doing the wrong way. You know, there are cultures where, you know, especially like where we're from in Africa, India, I've seen it in the Middle East, and maybe South America as well, where parents are heavily involved in that decision. And, you know, you might hear people from the West, Europe and America, they're like, what do you have your parents involved in that? And I'm like, that is how it works, and it has worked for thousands and thousands of years. So vice versa, when our African parents hear about people choosing their own mate without considering or talking to their parents, they'll be like, what kind of son are you? What kind of daughter are you that you did not involve your parents in that decision? No. If it worked for them, then there's no need to judge. Yeah. So there's no handbook, there's no script out there. So what I've seen is that's based on talking to many friends from all over the world. You know, I've lived on 3 continents already. I've deducted that it is very important to have friends, people that you trust. You know, ideally, if you have a parent, great. Put that parent in that circle of trust of people. A best friend that you really trust, put them in there. And another person that you admire, put them in there. You can have 3 to 5 people and talk to them. Because getting married, it is one of the most important decisions that you're going to make in your life. And if you're thinking about having a family with that person and children, those children are going to look like that person. Think about it. It's like, what do I mean, you know? And the other thing as well that we tend to forget is that marriage is not just between 2 people. It's between 2 families.
Yeah. And generations.
You know? Your family and that person's family, they come together and become one. And share that responsibility. These are our children. We're going to look after them. Now, from now on, we have a relationship. We are family. We are family through marriage. And we see this in the history, in the Bible, and we see it in the, if you look at history, you would see how kings would actually would actually get their children, or their children, they could be princess and princesses, get married to another kingdom, to another son of over there, so that they can have peace. So that those 2 countries can have peace. You see it with, for those that read the Bible, you see with King Solomon. The first thing he did, he married the daughter of Pharaoh. Because at the time, Egypt was the most powerful nation in the world. It's like, if for me to achieve peace, let me marry his daughter. And then as soon as he married her, he brought her to Israel and built her a palace. Now, Pharaoh cannot attack Israel. That is the power of families coming together, nations coming together through marriage. So that is why it's important to get your parents involved. You know, in Africa, where we come from, you know, actually you come to your parents, it's like, I like this person, or even sometimes the parents will say, look, we think that you should go and get married in that family, and tell you straight. And you'll be like, what? No, no. They'll be like, no, we want that family. For what reason? They will give you the reason, because our family is well off. Our families, we do this. So if those two families come together, this is going to be a powerful union. Yes. Do you understand? And this is where experience comes in. They were like, our family, if we do that, we are making sure that you and that other, because the other person as well did not have a choice. If you marry that boy, he didn't have a choice in the matter. It's the families that got together and said, look, let's get you married. And then they see the advantages coming in the future, whether it's peace or prosperity.
Yeah. You'll mostly be successful, and 100 times of like percent, you'll always be successful, because they look at so many perspectives.
Exactly.
But then if you're this person who was like, I'm not gonna do that, and you literally refuse, most of them, like, they will curse you, you'll have issues with the family, and you'll never be successful, because wherever you're going, someone's just talking bad things about you.
Yeah.
And at the end of the time, it's like, you're not gonna have peace wherever you're going. So you really have to come to your mind and your senses to be like, yeah, I'm gonna do this. But the other thing that I've also seen is that the reality is, most of the time, even if we are trying to run out from our parents' guidance, even when we go marry the person of our choice or somebody else from another culture, at the end of the at the end of the day, you still show those, portray those values from your family, because when you're loving this person, it was only about those emotions of love for the first 3 years. Then afterwards, it becomes really you. So you start portraying those same values of your family, and if what they were telling you was true, of course, that marriage won't work. And when it comes to divorce or separation, it comes with a lot of consequences.
Exactly.
So I'll say it's just like, listen to the people around you, because at the end of the day, these are the people who brought you up, and they really mean the best for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. But also, like you said earlier, some parents, like, they don't have like great judgment. Even your friends and the team may not have a great judgment. And sometimes we look at the physical. And some are really so perfect in the way that how they behave, how they communicate, how they do stuff is really so perfect. And so you cannot just judge from the physical aspect of things. And so I'll say, I think the other way around to go about this, also like to pray about it. I know some are not Christians, will be like, I don't care about prayer.
It's okay,
but for
pray
those
about
who
it.
believe it, praying is important, because God sees our heart, and He sees 20 years from now. I may be perfect right now, but you don't know what will happen 10 years from now. As I grow up, as I change, you don't know what will happen 30 years from now. You don't know what complications will come up, like with me or just my overall. So also, like, the most important thing will be praying about it and having that great judgment. If you pray, really, like, if you seek other spiritual means, do it, because the spiritual doesn't lie, because you're looking into the future. You're not just looking at the present. But still, like, talking to people is important, and also looking at those physical traits and the communication. Like, talk to this person over and over again, take this person somewhere else, different places, different circumstances, and see how this person is going to behave, and how will this person be okay, or just looking at that too helps.
And that's with everything. That's with the decision of what kind of career you want to make, you're going to go into. Should we have children or not sure? I think God is going to say have children, you know, or should we move or not move? Which college should I go to? All these are critical questions and dilemmas that we come to as we grow in our lives. But I think, you know, people, I think prayer is very important. I believe prayer is very important. And people that don't believe in prayer, they don't realize that they're praying. Whenever you sit down and you're like, oh man, I'm so confused. What do I do? That's a prayer. And the universe will respond because you are humble to ask that question. Oh man, I need guidance. As soon as you say that, you might not believe in God, you might not believe in Jesus or Muhammad or Buddha, and you may be an atheist, as soon as you ask that questions, that is a prayer, because that is just who we are as a people. And let me tell you something, if you are open and humble, you'll see an answer. You say, I am so confused, please send me a sign. Help me with something. How do I, for employers, they're like, oh, I've got two potential great employees. Who do I hire? You want to go into business? Who should I go in business with? I want to do a podcast. Who should be the best partner? All these are decisions that you have to go through, and you ask guidance, and sometimes you ask guidance, spiritually, you don't even know where, because you're just thinking about it, and you get an answer. You get a phone call, you get something, a text, or see something, and immediately that is, this is the right. And when you make a decision, this is what I found out about decision making. When you make the right decision, the first sign that you know that this is the right decision is peace. When you have peace, when you make that decision, that's a sign, that's a good decision. No peace, that's a bad decision.
So we're almost coming to the end of our conversation today. This has been, an inspiring conversation, like talking to the young people, because this is a very crucial time, just their ages, like the 18s and above. So one of our last questions is, how do you see the concept of marriage and partner selection evolving today, especially with modern changes in values, independency and technology? I know you talked about Instagram, Facebook, but just meeting out from Facebook and they're like, this is my partner. So how have you seen that evolving, and is that really helping when it comes to selecting?
I believe that this is my personal views, that one, as I said, we need to start socializing. We need to socialize more. That is a skill that young people need to learn. You need to learn how to socialize. You need to get out there. You need to be bold and brave and be uncomfortable to socialize. Cultivate and those skills. Talking to people, small talks, public speaking, joining other communities. Don't be afraid, because we as human beings, we are built to be with others. We are not built to be islands, to be isolated. So build those muscles of talking to people, of joining communities, of joining social constructs that where you share interests and values. Go out there, go out there and mingle, go out there and talk to people, go out there and dance. Don't stay indoors. Don't stay indoors playing games all night, all day long, or on social media, because social media is a drug. It's addictive. And it's not helping. It is meant to be a good thing. It could be a good thing, but right now it's not a good thing, because there's too much content. And the other thing about when you're trying to choose someone, a partner, a life partner, is that when it's too easy, it becomes, you know what I mean? When something comes easy, you don't value it that much. Back in the days where we used to call and pay for, to pay to just make a phone call. That's an investment. That is an investment. You're like, oh, we only have, 5 minutes to talk. So you want to get to the point, and say what you mean. But now I can be reached, or you can reach that person anytime. That is a great thing in terms of flow of communication. But when it comes to dating and relationship, it's too much. You have too much access into your lives. People are putting too much things out there. And then the things that we see out there, there's too many bad advices on Instagram, on social media about relationship.
So many preachers, so many advisors,
so many gurus.
Coaches.
You know what I mean? The other thing I don't like is the list. Having a list of things, because that is gonna blow. When you find the right partner, you're gonna find that person who did not meet any of those things on your list. So having a list and going by your list is problematic, because it makes you, it's like a little prison. Like anything outside this, I'm not looking at it. You need to open your eyes. You need to be open and allow yourself to be surprised by life. There are the people that you think that is going to be your partner. You're going to be surprised, like, oh, I will never have thought that this is the right person for my life. because he's like this and that. What I was thinking was a gym guy, buff, with abdos, who does this and that. And then you find out that guy, he's not a nice guy. He does not share the same values as you are, you know? And for people that look at all those pictures on Instagram, it's very misleading. It's like, what? It's very people are putting things out there that are not true. That's why it's dangerous to go through, social media or even dating apps. People are lying about what they do, who they are, what they look like. So I don't think it's helping. So we need to go back to the old-fashioned way of just mingling, socializing, going out, go dancing, leisure, go to church, go to parties, go to weddings, and learn how to speak to people. When somebody approaches you, be open, because you never know who you're going to meet. And that is going to build skills that you can use in your career and anywhere, because social skills are very important. So I think that my take on young people is that we need to socialize more. Young people need to socialize more, play less games, and turn off their phones and be less on social media, and experience nature. Go on hiking. Go find hiking groups. Be outside, and find other people, because that's what we are. You will be surprised. Allow yourself to be surprised. Don't just walk by your list. Allow yourself. Be open to everyone. You never know, the right person might be out there, or you might be seeing them every day, but you never, because you are just like this on your phone, but they're just sitting right there. You never saw them because you're not open. Put your phone down, go out and socialize.
Like, we shouldn't go by our list. I know it's a very common thing nowadays online. Yeah. Each time you find somebody, advising something about marriage, you always say, like, have a list, have the list of qualities you want in a person. But there's some things some characteristics or traits that can be built in a long run as you with this person. If you want somebody, like you say, who has big muscles, who goes to the gym every day, if you marry this person and you love each other, of course, this person can cultivate such a trait. And so at the end of the day, like, if you're so much into your list, you end up losing the best people who could have developed the list that you have if you all work together. Yeah, and when it comes to the social media aspect as well, you're looking at people who are not real. Like, they're not real, they're just doing stuff. It's a virtual thing. It's like, I remember two weeks ago, I completed my online class. We were doing a marketing project, and so they said we should all put on business casuals. And so I had to put on my suits, and I didn't put anything down. Like, I just had my slippers, and I was telling myself, look, this is Gen Z lifestyle. Like, we are all on suits, but
in flip-flops.
Yeah, it's not full. So most of the, like, online, you find, like, things that are not real. It's just a virtual thing. And so it's really important to, even if you find this person and you think they are great people, like, seek them out, like, have enough time with this before you decide to marry that person. Because at the end of the day, what we are looking at is somebody whom you can have a lifetime with, so that you don't break. Because when I look at the consequences of breakups, they come with a lot of consequences. If you have kids, now you have to start thinking about, how am I going to divide my kids' attention between their father and me? Like, they have to go to their father's place maybe 3 times in a week, one time to my house. So it's like you just in so many issues that you bring to your complicated life, and you're bringing so much to your life. So it's really crucial for you to choose somebody right for you at the beginning, so that at the end of the day, you don't end up in such messes. And it has been working over the centuries. People have been choosing great partners for as long as they go through the right steps. Yeah. So I don't know if, Nicole, you have something else to end with our discussion today.
Yes, I just want to say thank you for coming on. You gave us so much advice that will inspire young people, and also me, since I am more on the shy side, so I don't really socialize. And that's a skill I'm working towards every single day. So I want to thank you for coming on and sharing that advice to everyone.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure. Keep going. Keep doing what you're doing. You guys are trailblazers.